Welcome to Coatings Talk Live. It's great to have you here. Now, before I open up the live stream, let me talk about the Coatings Talk Insight newsletter on LinkedIn. And if you're not a subscriber, why you should be. Subscribing to Coatings Talk Insight is a smart move for anyone in the coatings and corrosion industries. Subscribers consistently get cutting-edge information and stay ahead of the curve with the latest updates on corrosion protection, coatings technology, and best practices. The newsletter delivers valuable insights in every issue. Additionally, Coatings Talk Insight also brings you industry trends. So get a pulse on emerging trends, market demands, and regulatory changes. Whether you're a contractor, specifier, manufacturer, or support the global coatings and corrosion industries, this newsletter keeps you informed. Remember, knowledge is power, and the Coatings Talk Insight newsletter is the source of knowledge. Now let's start the live stream. Hey, welcome to this live broadcast of Coatings Talk. Coating and corrosion enthusiasts and fellow curious minds. I'm so thrilled to have you here on another exciting live stream. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just wanting to learn more about the world of coatings and corrosion, you're in for a treat. Let me kick things off with a quick rundown of what to expect on Coatings Talk Live. First, you're going to get engaging discussions. We're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of coatings and corrosion, from innovative technical products and solutions to surface preparation, application techniques, inspection, and the science behind, and also the management behind corrosion and protective coatings. Secondly, interactive questions and answers. Your questions fuel the conversation with Coatings Talk. So drop in your questions in your comments, and I'll address those during this live stream session. And importantly, exclusive insights. In addition to live stream, Coatings Talk produces a technical newsletter on LinkedIn, long and short format video, the return of 2-minute lessons, and a vibrant community on LinkedIn. Remember, this isn't a monologue, it's a conversation. So introduce yourself in the comments. Let's embark on a Coatings Talk Live together. Now, before I set up this conversation regarding the AMPP Eastern Conference that's coming up in Grand Rapids, I have two amazing guests that have joined into this live broadcast. First, we'll kick it off with Nikki. Nikki, if you could introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and what you're going to be, what your role is with the AMPP Eastern Conference.
Sure. So my name is Nikki Zapris. I currently am the coating and corrosion engineer for Equitrans Midstream, which is a natural gas midstream company based in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's just south of Pittsburgh. And for Eastern this year, I am the co-chair for the pipeline coatings track. It's kind of exciting this year. We have a pipeline coatings track and a more industrial coatings track, which I think is one of the first years that we've done that. So I am kind of sticking with the pipeline coating side to make sure that we're staying on top of things when it comes to the pipeline industry and the coatings that we need, use, experience every day, those sorts of things.
Excellent, excellent. And Doug, if you'd like to introduce yourself and also to the role and responsibilities related to the Eastern Conference.
Sure. Thanks, Jim. Doug Klingensmith with Unconventional Solutions. I'm the co-chair for Eastern Area AMP. And Jim, thanks for leading the industrial coatings track, and Nikki for helping out so much with the pipelines coating tracks. This year is going to be exciting because we do have two coatings tracks, both pipelines specifically geared toward the natural gas and hazardous liquids, as well as industrial coatings, which is going to be great. I can't wait to see what happens. And also, for the first time ever with Eastern Area, there's going to be a hands-on track as well. So hopefully some people will have some good hands-on workshops that we can do in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time this October. And I guess the really unique thing, Nikki, you had mentioned is that, in addition to having, industrial coatings, corrosion, we have pipeline coatings. And then also too, for the first time, I believe, and Doug, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but we're actually having the demonstrations, or let's call them technical presentations, where it's going to be more like a demo in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. We're calling it hands-on, but we
Yes.
welcome anybody to demonstrate a new product or even an existing product that you think has some unique characteristics.
Perfect. And before we get into talking, tonight's focus on this particular live stream, and we have several different live streams, not a lot, maybe 3 or 4, 2 or 3 more, I believe, if I remember correctly. We want to talk about different aspects about AMP Eastern Conference. Tonight, what we want to focus on is going to be on these presentations, and also too, we're roughly about 30 days within a window of kind of wrapping up when we're looking for paragraphs, the descriptions on presentations for people to submit. But Doug, a lot of people have been asking me, and I'm sure you get the same thing too. How did the Great Lakes chapter secure the Eastern Conference for AMP?
Well, it started down in Florida with Stephanie Decker. She had hosted the Eastern down there in Florida, and I think I bought her a drink and she bought me a drink. And next thing I knew, I was telling Great Lakes chapter we should definitely host Eastern area in the near future.
And the event will be held in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is a very beautiful city. A lot of the city shots with bridge structure and everything like that, I've been focusing on with a lot of the posts I've been doing. And it's running this October 14th through the 16th. So let's get in and talk about these technical tracks. The first one I want to talk about is going to be the industrial coatings track. And as it says on the website, if you go to the amp.org website, a lot of things have been causing a little heartburn with people when they see a call for abstracts, and they have this hesitation thinking they have to write up this dissertation abstract, make it very complex to be able to submit it in for review. And really what we're looking for as committee members and also as a leadership team with Eastern Conference is for people to take their technical presentation and look to kind of format a paragraph or so, maybe a few sentences to describe it. Did I capture that description properly there, Doug and Nikki?
Yeah, what I was going to say too is if you're interested in starting to present at AMP type things, if you're starting to want to get involved in industry type conferences, this is a great place to start because like Jim mentioned, it's really just a couple sentences of what do you want to talk about. If it's accepted, you make a presentation. There's no giant papers. There's no big peer review processes. This is kind of a great starting point for those of you who have thought, maybe I want to do that someday, but it seems like a lot of work and I don't really know all the steps that go into it. But I presented in the past and I think my abstract was like 2 sentences long when I presented. So it's really not a ton of work to get your idea in there, and you can always add a little more context as we get closer to, but right now we're just kind of looking for the ideas we want to use to craft what this program is going to look like.
Yeah, that's really it. And looking at it, and just looking at, my background, I had the opportunity to present at Central Area. This is back in the NACE days, but Central Area and also for Western Region as well. And I remember just at that time, it was just a coatings and a corrosion track. And now, we have the hands-on, as Doug was mentioning, we've got the pipeline, corrosion, industrial coatings. So we're covering all different flavors of different aspects of the coatings and corrosion industry. And, looking at the corrosion side, we've got such topics that we're saying you could go for is looking at mitigation, stray current interference, internal or external tank, cathodic protection, could be internal corrosion monitoring and concerns, even going through such things as above ground surveys, and then also too, corrosion under insulation. These are really big corrosion topics. And both for Nikki and for Doug, your past experience in participating at Eastern conferences, and for the most part also too with the annual conference, how impactful related to corrosion topics can the Eastern Conference be for attendees and also for companies that might be sending people to participate?
I would say it's very impactful. It's a chance really to get involved. AMP is made up of volunteers, so this is your chance to get involved and give back to the community you belong to. And the third note I would say is a chance to get noticed. I remember my first Eastern area. I don't claim to remember if it was 2008 or 2010, but it was in Pittsburgh, Nikki, in your hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave a short little presentation on the latest tools and proper tools in order to apply coatings properly. Sometimes people get real excited about the coatings, but without the right brushes, rollers, spray equipment, you can have the best coating in the world and get very poor results. So it can be as simple as something like that, Jim.
Yeah,
I also think it's a great opportunity. Again, it is a little bit of a smaller audience, so it's a way to almost get that feedback of, is your topic relevant to the industry at large, or is it very regionally focused, right? Is this something that is impacting the industry nationwide, worldwide, or is it something that's really a problem within a specific region, area, that sort of stuff? So it's great to get that feedback as well. And then again, because it is a little bit of a smaller sort of setting, it's a lot easier to network with people and meet your counterparts and have those really meaningful conversations with the vendors that are there. Whereas if you're at something that's more, at the annual conference, the really big one, there's so many people there. Sometimes it can be very overwhelming to approach different people or approach the presenters or approach all the different vendors because there's just so much going on. Whereas this really gives you an opportunity to network and to get to know your counterparts and others in the industry that, you might need to know them in next time you do a crossing there, or, hey, I need a different paint system. So just even from the networking side, there's a huge benefit to both the attendees and then therefore the companies as a whole as well.
Nikki, that's a great point. Think about it, maximum impact both in delivering a technical presentation. Maybe you also take advantage of a tabletop if you have a tabletop exhibit. And then the other aspect of it is the networking. And the way I look at it is the investment for any different way you're looking at it, just a straight attendee, or if you're looking at being a tabletop with an attendee, you're getting maximum opportunity and networking for a minimal price. And I think that's what makes these regional conferences for AMP very powerful, because to your point, you're talking about hundreds of people, not thousands of people. And in the larger conference, you could spend the whole time really chasing after people, and maybe you don't even encounter them because there's just so many people at the annual conference.
And I also think
Jim,
along those lines.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Doug.
Okay, that's a great point you bring up, Jim. Is at the worldwide or big national events that we have, you almost have to be strategic in who you reach out to, because once you're there, it's too late to decide who you want to have lunch with or talk to, because it is such a big venue at a huge convention center. While this is all housed under one hotel, making it more intimate and a little bit more casual in order to meet many people in your own region versus having to pick and choose who you have time to talk to.
I was also going to say along those lines, this is a personal company thing, I guess. I don't know if it applies to everybody, but I know for me, it was a lot easier to get sort of the legal reviews and the company approval to present at an Eastern Regional Conference because it is a smaller audience and there's no paper associated with it, right? I was able to say, it's just a presentation. Everyone there is in the industry. Everyone there is interested in hearing about this stuff. There's a real benefit to being able to talk about these things. And I do think that a lot of companies probably have a similar mindset where, for lack of a better term, it's almost like you can air your dirty laundry in this setting and actually get valuable conversations and feedback. You can really open up to the smaller audience, or have those, even if it's not as part of your presentation, it might be after the fact, one-on-one. But I know, like I said, from my perspective, because there wasn't the paper associated with it, I had a much easier time getting approvals to speak.
Yeah,
So that's a benefit.
That is a benefit, to be able to go through a review process quicker. The other thing too is, in current times right now, when you're looking at the investment to, go to a city, attend an event like this, and, spend a couple of days, you have to have that ROI, the return on investment. And I think the Eastern Conference, it makes a very, very strong argument for, again, a minimal type of investment, in my opinion, maximum output you can get from this, or opportunity. So your ROI, and you're going into a major city, you're going to be able to get, relatively transportation, very reasonable cost. You book it out. I mean, it's in October, so, now's the time to take advantage of registration, and also, booking your travel and things like that. So let's dig into the one thing I really found, a couple things I found unique about pipeline coatings, is the focus on the maintenance side, and then also too talking about biofuels, hydrogen, and renewable fuels. When we're looking at these emerging markets, especially for pipeliners, these are things because traditional oil and gas companies are looking at biofuels and sustainable aviation fuels and all these different type of renewable fuels. And we would love to have technical presentation submissions in the pipeline, and really could apply pretty much in all of these different categories. We would love to see that, because I think that can really help bring a unique perspective to this. I guess I'd ask a question for both of you. What are your thoughts of some of the, innovations and things out there that, that could really kind of draw a lot of attention to the conference? What do you guys think about that?
Nikki, you want to go first?
Sure. I think, again, this is a great way to actually hear about what's happening more locally, right? There's a lot of innovations that come out, but it's the whole, how's the regulator going to feel about that? Are they going to be open to this as opposed to that type thing? And so having, again, that smaller forum where people are more willing to talk about that stuff, you can figure out, hey, look, so-and-so did it and they didn't get pushback, or here's how they approached pushback they may have gotten. So I think it's one of those, not only does it help to create a platform for you to hear about, what might be new from a manufacturer or a surface prep, or, application technique, anything like that, but also real world application of that new innovation. And, what were the hurdles? How did they overcome them? Or were there not any hurdles? Were they like, hey, it's like in kind, who cares? And it saved us X amount of money and time. So I think it's, again, because it's a little more intimate, a little more personal, you really get that ability to see, how does this impact me? How can I take this home with me? Because it is, you're not sitting in the Eastern Regional Conference hearing about oil and gas, talking about offshore platforms, right? You're usually hearing more things that are relevant to, hey, in the Eastern market, here's what we're dealing with. And here's the innovations that could impact you specifically, not like, well, that's great, but, I don't live in the desert with tank farms, so that doesn't really impact me at all.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too, is that the innovation topics are more geared toward things that actually are relevant to your application when you go to a conference like this.
Yes.
I'd like to second that. I have a cohort in Louisiana that used to ask me, why do I sell so much concrete repair? And I go, well, maybe you don't have freeze thaw in Louisiana. So you can definitely get a more regional view on things. And another topic that's come up in the Great Lakes area, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, is a lot of snow and ice in the wintertime. So floors can get really slippery. And although epoxy floorings do have some natural slip resistance to it, people tend to see them as glossy and get scared. So we've had a couple utility companies have us start giving a coefficient of friction test after we do a floor to make sure everybody understands, yes, this is much safer than bare concrete.
Yeah, and I mean, similar to that, I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania. We're very close to West Virginia. Ours are construction CP related things when it comes to working on the side of a mountain or wind chills or, really rocky terrain or clay that doesn't really carry CP very well, as opposed to a marshy, damp soil environment where it might not be as hard to push that out. And so again, what's out there that can help me overcome this specific issue? Because I do know that that's a problem for companies in my area. And so I think that's a good thing too to think about, is that it's more, not necessarily even just the corrosion and coating side, but it's kind of all applications of like, hey, we're in this industry. We all have issues to deal with. How do we solve them? And this can provide kind of that opportunity to start working through that. Or I know that I'm one of the chairs for the AMP annual conference. I'm the cathodic protection chair. And I know one of the big things that AMP is focusing on is trying to get those feelers out for where do we go next? How do we stay sustainable from an organization perspective as well? What abstracts do we need to be seeing? What standards might we be missing? And conferences like this Eastern Regional are a great way to kind of have another layer of getting those feelers out there to really talk about, this is an issue, how do we solve it? Or we have a large gap in the needs of, regulators are asking us, how do we do this? And we don't have an industry standard to really point through. And so I think that's one of those things too, where this is almost, if the national conference is here for getting feelers, having the discussion, we are more here, broad spread, to be able to get even more fingers out there, more things to feed back to our AMP organization to make sure that we are still able to best support the industries that we work in from a corrosion mitigation perspective.
Yeah, very good point. And then for industrial coatings, anything from, looking at engineering approach. And again, that can be, to your point, regionally, decisions can be made based on a regional or environmental areas, but also covering such things as new regulations, lessons learned, and then covering, traditional type of industrial coating systems. And then with the hands-on presentations, everything that related to corrosion pipeline and industrial coatings can roll into the hands-on presentation. Doug, let me ask if you've talked to a lot of people, how do you describe the hands-on presentation? Typically, what would that look like?
I think this is something where you could just be a little bit more involved, actually demonstrate CP equipment if that's what you wanted to do it on, pipe coating application process, or even a surface preparation process, the right tools to use for inspecting of surface prep.
Perfect.
And I think that's a great opportunity as well for, especially if you're new to the industry, you've heard about this tool for surface prep, but you've never actually seen it, or you don't quite comprehend how it works. Or, you've heard about this material that everybody uses, but like, what does that actually mean, or how does it truly work? It's a great way to, in a non-pressure sales environment, see what's out there and what are they talking about and how do I actually apply this? Or if I do use this, what am I getting? What am I finding out? If I use a wheel abrader for my surface prep versus a flat wheel or whatever, what's the different outcomes of that? And being able to physically see that and touch it and do it can add a lot of benefit there too, because you might not always be able to go out in the field and see that being done, or you might be the one that's asked, will this work instead? Is this considered, a like and kind change? And if you've never seen them, you're not going to really know how to answer that question. And so I think that's another benefit to having the hands-on presentations here, is it really gives a whole nother element to the learning experience that you might not be exposed to elsewhere.
Excellent. And I know we've had a number of people submitting. In fact, we have someone that's watching here that submitted today. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. And again, you're looking at here workforce educational solutions. I'm sure it's going to be something related to workforce development. And again, that the flexibility, I think, of having a conference like this when it comes to topics, they don't have to be strictly, into corrosion coatings and also pipeline coatings. It can be kind of associated or adjacent to some of these topics that we routinely deal with on a day in, day out basis.
Jim, one topic I'd love to see somebody talk about is bridge coatings. A lot of people don't realize Michigan is home of 4 of the U.S.'s largest bridges, from the International Bridge up in Sault Ste. Marie to the Mackinac Bridge, which is 6 miles long, and the Blue Water Bridge and the Ambassador Bridge. And they're building a 5th one just south of Detroit. So that'd be great. And I know, Nikki, where you're at in Pittsburgh, you got plenty of bridges.
As someone who lives in a city that has more bridges than Venice, I would agree with that.
Yeah. That all need worked on. Well, almost all of them. Some of them have been addressed, though. But
yeah, we'll see.
And then related to the submission process, it's real easy. All you have to do is go to the link. A lot of the social media posts have links, or you have a QR code that you can scan and go to. You log into the amp.org system, and you're able to submit. Again, the word, it says abstract, but really it could be a 2-sentence description, a short paragraph, just explaining exactly what your presentation. You don't even have to turn in your presentation at this time. That will be done at a later date, well in advance of the conference. That's the nice thing about having this call out now, is that we can have everything ready to go, have a great program put in place, schedule it out really nice, and make it flow real well and make it real interesting, and create that opportunity, as Nikki and Doug had said, about networking and answering questions, both on a regional basis, or maybe it's something in the related to the industry that's a hot topic for 2024. I'm currently working with I work for International. So, we're working to submit as well. And there's going to be, I think, a lot more, but we want to make sure we get the word out there and say, let's go. Let's get it going, because we got about maybe 30 days. And we want to try to get as much as possible when it comes to presentations. What message, Nikki, do you have for people who are thinking about it but haven't done it yet?
Don't wait. I mean, I would rather put it in, get it on the radar. Even if you're considering it, put it in. As we get closer, if it ends up that something happens and you can't, that's better than, meeting that June 2nd deadline and being like, I kind of wish I would have. If you're hesitant, do it. You're going to get a lot out of it. Both from just the experience of presenting, but also, like we've talked about, the learning experiences and being there and seeing everything and touching everything. It's definitely, return on investment is huge, and it's not as much work as it might sound like. So if you're hesitant, do it, bite the bullet, you won't be sorry. And then you can tell everyone, all your friends, hey, you should do this next year.
And Doug, you have any advice or words of wisdom for people who are thinking about it but haven't done anything yet?
I'd like to echo what Nikki said. When in doubt, do it now, do it now, do it now. And the other thing is, it will just help you grow in your company or in the industry, because one of the best ways to really master a topic is to teach, talk, or train others on the topic. Mm-hmm. It just forces you to be more aware of your environment and what needs to be done to get it done right.
Perfect. And when I would be wrong if I did not talk about, again, as I mentioned, minimal investment, and this is my opinion, but I say more of a minimal investment, maximum opportunity, and networking opportunity also. But for registration, member, non-member, very, very reasonable discount that is in play through September, I believe it's 14th. Yes, you'd save up to $100. And the same thing for sponsorship packages, tabletops. There's all different ways that you can contribute, participate, and also take advantage of some cost savings by doing multiple things with the Eastern Conference.
Jim, one thing about that, can I hop in quickly?
Yeah, please.
In terms of return on investment, your registration also includes lunch on Tuesday, a social event that has complimentary drink. You get there'll be food there, so pretty much you're paying for the conference, you're paying for your travel, but once you're there, a lot of your other expenses are already kind of included in your registration fee. So it's even a better deal than it looks like, and you can get professional development hours as well. So if you do hold a certification, this is another great, relatively inexpensive way to knock off some of those requirements so that when your certification comes up, you will already have those development hours ready to go. And then it's a little bit easier for you to complete that recertification process as well.
And also too, group discounts for multiple people. So those companies that are, you're watching this right now, go to your boss and say, listen, we can get a group discount if we're sending X number of people, and you can work, I believe, through AMP to get that group discount.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Jim, is with groups of 10 or more, there's a discount off the advance price. So that lowers it. And Nikki, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think speakers might even get a discount off registration if it's not complimentary.
I'm not sure. I have to ask about that. I know that that works that way at the annual conference, so I would assume it's similar here, but I'm not entirely positive on that.
Sure.
Doug said it, so it's true.
Well, I was going to say the way I understood it is if you wanted that discount, take advantage of that prior to September 14th, and you could save up to $100, member or non-member. So, and then members are for free. Non-member for student is only $20. So for any university students, or if you're looking at getting into the coatings and corrosion industry at any different level, and you're watching this stream, or you have, some young adults out there that are in your family or in your household, you're watching this, this is an opportunity. Again, we're talking about Eastern area, and this will be in Michigan. But this also might be an opportunity to introduce your young ones who are in college or going into trade school to check out these industries, let's say that. And hotel, Amway Grand Plaza. This is a very, very historic location, if I remember correctly, Doug. How was this? How was the Amway Grand Plaza picked?
It's just a gorgeous place. Every room has a view of the river, so you can't get a bad room. It's right in the heart of downtown, so it's near a lot of restaurants and breweries, so plenty to do. And Tuesday is going to be a lot of fun at the Bob. So that's a historical building as well, where we're renting out an entire floor of the Bob. So it should be great. And fall colors are perfect in October in Michigan.
Yeah.
So those of you that like leaves changing colors.
Or for those of you who have never seen leaves change colors, it's even better.
Absolutely. Some people have never seen that.
And the rate is $199 per night plus tax. And this is something, again, you're going to want to book your room early because there's going to be a block of rooms. And if you wait too long, you never know. We might run out of rooms. Doug, I don't know how many room blocks or how big of a room block we have, but.
I don't claim to know, but we've already booked our rooms. So we have the 10 rooms for Unconventional Solutions booked.
Nice.
So we're excited about it.
And then a question that came in regarding, let me see if I can pop this up here, regarding registration. Yeah, there is a registration that's there, and I can work with you too on trying to find out exactly what that will be for the presenters, if there is anything different. And then her birthday's on the 15th. How about that? That's
all
great.
Right. What better way to spend your birthday?
Yeah, definitely. I will definitely give a toast for a birthday toast for sure on that. So as we're closing out this stream, we'll start with Nikki. Nikki, how can people, I guess, follow you? You have social media? Can they connect with you on LinkedIn? How's best way for people to connect with you and follow you?
I am on LinkedIn. I actually just changed my profile picture today, so it actually looks like me. Previous to today, I was in a respirator and safety glasses and a Tyvek suit. So people were like, "Is that actually you?" you can follow me on social media. I am Nikki Zaffris with a Z. Yeah, so go ahead and look at me that way. I'm not big on Facebook or Instagram because I've gotten hacked too many times. So LinkedIn is where it's at.
And Doug, how can people follow you, stay in contact with you, all that kind of good stuff?
LinkedIn is great. I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit, and sometimes I'm on Facebook, and very rarely am I on X or Twitter, but once a quarter I might be there. Also, you could email me or call me if you have my contact information.
Well, Doug, I'm happy to say you are on X right now, so live.
Okay, great.
Okay, everyone. As I'm closing out this live stream, let me mention that Coatings Talk has a LinkedIn group, and we're building a very strong community of coatings and corrosion professionals and others who support both industries. This community's purpose is to share members' experience, their expertise, information, knowledge, passion, skills, and more. So please join the Coatings Talk community, and I'm looking forward to working with new members like you. Join me next time as I continue our Coatings Talk and dive deeper into topics such as coatings technology, surface preparation, coating application, corrosion, corrosion protection, quality inspection, and more. And don't forget to subscribe to the Coatings Talk channel to stay updated on the latest episodes. I appreciate your support, and I look forward to bringing you more exciting content from the amazing global protective coatings and corrosion industries. Okay, thank you and also please have a good afternoon, evening, morning, no matter where in the world you're watching this broadcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.